Since the pandemic, Canadian banks, credit unions, and even casinos have flagged a staggering 2.6 million suspicious financial transactions that have been ignored by Ottawa. Let's dig in. 2.6 million suspicious transactions have been flagged by Canadian banks, credit unions, and casinos since the pandemic, and this number comes straight from access to information records as reported on by Blacklock's reporter. As they pointed out, the reporting came at the same time that the Liberal cabinet made now the unmet pledge to create a new police agency to fight supposed white-collar crime. So what exactly is the deal here? Well, the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Centre of Canada, that's FINTRAC, says these reports came mostly from banks, roughly 1.9 million of them. And then you have cash transfer companies reporting 459,000, credit unions 221,000, and even casinos clocking in 34,000 suspicious transactions. Realtors, diamond dealers, and accountants are on the list of sectors that reported suspicious transactions too. Now, the feds mandate that anyone handling large cash transactions has to report every one if it's over $10,000 or face a $2 million fine. And if something smells like money laundering or terrorist financing, well, they have to flag it as suspicious without even verifying any facts. Just a hunch is enough. Like if someone deposits a check and zips the money to another account or trades cash for casino chips or even, get this, swaps dollars for Bitcoin at a currency counter. So way back in 2021, the Liberal Party promised Canadians a shiny new police agency to tackle money laundering, fraud, and white-collar crime. Their platform was all, we're going to protect Canadians and the economy, which sounds great, right? Except that, plot twist, no legislation was ever tabled. So much for their $200 million investment. Yet last week, Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne was like, oh, we're still committed and we have a plan.
We want to tackle the big things. We talk about financial crime to growth to prosperity. And that's why I said this is a G7 meeting of going back to basics, what the G7 was meant for.
A plan? Sir, it's been 4 years. My grocery list has more of follow-through than that. That's including when I forget it at home. So while 2.6 million red flags are piling up, who knows how many millions, billions, or maybe even trillions of dollars worth, Ottawa's out here with the same old, making promises that they don't keep. And we're left wondering who's actually watching or following the money, especially as independent journalist Sam Cooper from the Bureau continues to expose and uncover complex networks involving money laundering, fentanyl trafficking, and political corruption, particularly when it involves the Chinese Communist Party's influence in Canada and the global illicit finance trade markets. Through detailed investigations such as those into Canadian banks' ties to fentanyl laundering and election interference, Cooper reveals how elite institutions and criminal networks intersect, often implicating powerful figures and governments. His best-selling book, Willful Blindness, is widely praised for exposing these issues, and yet despite relentless exposés, the mounting evidence of systemic financial crime, the Canadian government's inaction, failing to deliver on promised reforms, or establishing a dedicated agency, leaves that 2.6 million flagged suspicious transaction pretty much unaddressed.
China is so brazen, and as I say, what they do is try to flood the zone of the country that they're trying to influence. So even with those prosecutions in the United States, they now have none other than the New York Times reported on a pop-up service station in New York City run by a local gangster. So China won't stop.
Is this political will, lack thereof, or powerful interests being shielded from accountability? Lord knows if you were a concerned Canadian who donated food, clothing, or money to the Freedom Convoy in 2022, you had your bank account seized and frozen by the Canadian government without oversight, no due process, and no clear justification, as the Liberal government invoked the Emergencies Act to target protesters and their supporters, bypassing standard legal protections in a clear display of overreach that weaponized the financial system against Canadians. This is a recurring pattern with the Laurentian elites in Ottawa. Not mere inaction, but brazen overreach, protecting the elite while simultaneously betraying Canadians. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. Canada's drowning in red tape, yet the government does nothing. Ottawa was too busy freezing Freedom Convoy supporters' bank accounts without due process than to investigate the 2.6 million suspicious transactions. But we're committed to real investigative journalism at /thebureaucracy.com. So join us in demanding accountability and cut the corruption at /thebureaucracy.com.